What up? What up? We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. We got the SPY at the top, and we got QQQ at the bottom, Apple at the bottom. So, it's interesting market, right? We got a nice little uptrend to start the day, and then some nice consolidation, right? Some things are going up, some things are going down. And I really wanted to catch some moves to the downside, but I knew that a lot of other people was trying to catch those moves to the downside, and the market wasn't really breaking any major lows, right? So let me switch to the SPY and give you guys an exact view of what I'm talking about. So these are some lows on the SPY 4 hour. This is from last Wednesday at 565. You got another low at 565.40 something. So you could see from that wave down yesterday, we came down, but we didn't even test the previous low, and we created a hammer candle, which sent us up this morning and today. So just noticing that we're at lows, noticing we got a hammer candle at that area is enough to let you know, hey, we could be heading up today, along with us staying inside of this range, right? This supply zone, and we could just draw a zone just using these wicks. This isn't like an official zone, but just to use a visual of the range, we have price pretty much bouncing from the bottom of this area, top of this area. And if you're able to spot these ranges, you could pretty much trade both ways, up and down, once you see the right price action. All right. So some trades we are in right now. So the monster trade right now is MSTR. We got MicroStrategy. I swung this overnight and holding this right now. Expecting well, obviously uptrend, right? I mean calls. So it will be nice if you could see 200, right? If we get something past that, that would be beautiful, right? But if we do, you gotta understand that that's gonna be an all-time new high right there. So that was back in March where we touched 200, consolidated inside of this pendant pennant flag, and starting to see some push, a breakout outside of that. All right, let me check on the Discord and see what's going on. And drop some questions. Any tickers you guys want to take a look at, throw it in the chat. Pan W. All right, so I actually just got into some Pan W. This one is more of a trade with the trend. And this is the 5-minute chart that we are looking at. You can see we had a crazy move up from 340 this morning. Well, more like 342. And it went straight up to 355, pulled back a little bit to 352. So that was about $3 of a pullback. And then it made another push up to 357. Now, the thing with this push is that we have something interesting. Now this is where you got to draw your lines really good, and then we're gonna confirm this, right? But this candle that actually pushed up, it closed above this level that we have here, and that validates further movement up. So as long as this wave is holding up, right, meaning the low of this wave is holding up, then this is validated to maintain its uptrend. So an uptrend is higher lows and higher highs. So that's what we're looking for in order for the price to continue its uptrend. And if you're looking for the price to go down, then you're looking for lower lows and lower highs, right? And that's how we keep trading simple, straight to the point. Now back to MSTR, right? Because this one is a banger, not gonna lie. Right. I posted this one on the watch list. On all platforms, really. YouTube, Instagram, Discord, right? So we're gonna zoom back into the 15, and we could just see that we're pushing up. We just made a new high at 197.99. It's Tay Money's in the building. What's good, bro? Do you think we're going? So he says, do you think we're overextended a bit and due for a deeper pullback or longer consolidation? Mm, Overextended. Now that's a good question because overextended is it has some validity to it if you're looking just at the technicals. Like the overall move up because it did make a big move up. So if you zoom out, let's pull it up on the big charts. Let's pay it W. You want to see MSTR. All right, so MSTR, let's look at the 4 hours. So from the beginning of September, it made a move from 112, 114 up to where it is now at 198. Sorry, 197. Right? That's a big move for just 4 weeks, considering the previous price action. Right? We broke all these highs. We've been going straight up. Well, let me not say straight up because that's what I actually want to talk about. Because notice this move. This is like a straight up type of move, right? Like gap up, push, and then you see that deep pullback. This is overextended for sure, right? Due to all the gap ups and lack of pullbacks. Notice once you get that pullback, it shows healthiness, right? Health in the trend. Because it's getting a chance to take a break, gather some orders, some liquidity, and then it has enough fuel to make that next push. Which once it makes pullbacks, it I wouldn't consider it as overextended because it's taking the time to pull back and gather up orders, take off profit. It's a healthy trend, right? Up, nice pullback, up, nice pullback. But when you're just going straight up, no pullbacks, right? That's considered more overextended because you haven't had any time to fuel up on orders, right? All right. So the thing is with the reason why this one I wouldn't is somewhat overextended. I would say it's extended. Now to say it's overextended is to say, hey, this has surpassed how far it should move right? Or the range that it should be moving, that it could move. Um, Dang, let me make sure I don't trip myself up. The difference between overextension and extension is when you're overextended, that means that you over justified how far you should run based on how much pullbacks you've had. So because this move here, the previous one didn't have any pullbacks, for the same distance, I would consider this overextended. But if this had the same type of move, um, but it had pullbacks, yeah, it's extended, but I wouldn't consider it overextended, like an overstayed is welcome. Um, I feel like this one, and we're gonna get into the different reasons why, but this one has a lot of fuel and a lot of potential for it to move compared to this area, this movement. Why? We had this big move, and then we already had this nice pullback to the downside, right? So that's justifying a next push up. The second thing is if we're looking at the bigger picture, we're seeing this entire range as time for this market to gather up orders, specifically buy orders in order to push the price. So all this time for months and months and months, look at how large this range is and how long we've been consolidating um, to this breakout area and how far we're likely or could break out. And this is looking like past the 200s, right? If you just take um, just the most recent range, so this recent move, let's say like 112 to 172, that's about 60. So we just add that to be humble, right? 60 on top of that 112, right? This is called a measured move. We're measuring the moves to give us a projected movement, all right? Projected target. So let's see, 30, so 232, right? 232 is a nice measured move based on this recent wave, recent range. And this is honestly is justified. That's what I'm expecting from a huge range of, especially a pattern like a pennant where it's actually forming something structured, letting you know, hey, we're gathering up for something. And whether we break out to the upside or the downside, we got the fuel, right? So SMAs, like you just like Tay just said, that's another good way to know if we're overextended, right? So when we say overextended, there's more than one way to describe the price being overextended. Is one based on the recent, I guess, the range, how likely, or the ATR is one way you could describe that, right? And then another one is using the EMAs, which Tay just brought up, is that has it been a long time since we pulled back to an EMA, right? Because you can see it's common, right? And it's healthy for the price to constantly touch an EMA, right? Get a push up, touch an EMA. But if it pushed up and it's continuing to push up and it hasn't touched the EMA in a long time, that's another way of saying that price is like overextended. All right, so SPY, you can see SPY is chilling, so we always want to make sure we check in with SPY, right? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. What is Pan W up to? We got some uh after this push up, we had a small pullback and then another consolidation. And then we just had a pullback even more, but notice where we pulled back to. And this is really the move I should have been waiting for. And this is the demand zone that pretty much came from that move. So we could look at the high of this small candle. Sometimes you can use the body, but in this case, since the candle is so small, I'm gonna go ahead and use the top. So this the low of this green candle, 353, and you can see, this is a nice area where you could expect price to retrace back to and then have a reversal. So if we zoom in, we could see that red candle gave that zone a touch, and you see a push up from that green candle. Now this 9 EMA is acting as resistance, and we just got to see if the price could get over it and hold it as support. And we got good old MSTR, right? Now, this is another reason why I was feeling that even though MS MicroStrategy, I like saying MicroStrategy, didn't really have um like it made a move, but it still was healthy. And that's because it pushed up, pulled back, pushed up, pulled back. And where did it pull back to? These 9 EMAs, which is some good support, previous demand zone on a lower time frame. And then look at the volume, right? That volume is looking real nice. So there's a lot of good reasons to to expect some upside. VST, this was one that I wanted to short, right? So had some crazy pumps, right? From 110 last week up to 143. And then yesterday was the first drop. And then you can see it's struggling to get above that 50 EMA. This could be a trend line breakout, and or you could wait for this low to break for entry on VST. Doom, doom, doom. Tesla, yep. Tesla was one where I was ready for it to come down. They really made it look like I'm not saying they made it look like, but the trend was saying to the downside. And it pushed right back up. Well, before it pushed up, let's take a look at what it actually did, right? And what it didn't do. It came down, but it couldn't close or even retest the pre-market low. In my opinion, that's somewhat bullish that it created a green candle right after that. And then it came right above that 50 EMA, held it as support. So all that is bullish. And if you look at the higher time frame, 4-hour chart, you could see that we are pretty much retesting the previous lows, that area, while also holding another support from the previous day. So just understanding there's a lot of things going on in terms of what the trend and price action everything is doing, but the SPY in itself, what gave away the upside direction today was just knowing that it was ranging. I think we talked about this earlier, and expecting that push up. But if we know the market is ranging, then we should expect the stocks to be ranging. So if we take a look at Tesla's range, then we could see that Tesla was at the bottom of its range. So it's less likely to break through, and it's more likely to range along with the rest of the market. And if it's going to range, the next direction is up, right? So just keep that on watch. Well, be aware of ranges versus trends, because just knowing that one difference could save your whole day, right? Most of the time, we're expecting the market to trend in a direction, but you're gonna see in certain seasons the market could range day after day after day after day after day. So um, there's one approach where you could continuously try to see if it's gonna trend, continuously try to see if it's gonna break something, or respect the range and play reversals off of the range, right? So my brother Tay Money says, how do you determine your stop loss? And he says, I like SPY to close above previous day's high. Looks like it's trying to. So the previous day high. Previous day high would be right there at the top of the range. No, I'm lying. That's Friday. All right. Yes. So there's two technical previous days high. There's the open. Well, let me see. This is 9 o'clock. I don't know if that's the pre-market. But long story short, 571, pretty much 572. And we broke above it. But Tay is saying that he's looking for it to close above 572. We're right there. 20 cents away. All right, MSTR. So the thing about this, it's interesting because we got candle closes to the upside, but we're also on a bigger time frame, really close to the all-time highs. Right, this is where you might start seeing some shorters come in. Right, shorters. This is interesting because shorters are starting to get hungry. Well, they're already hungry. The market's going up, but they're getting you know, they salivating because when you see the market go up to all-time highs, that's an opportunity for them to make some money. On the way down, any pullbacks, right? So we take a look. The volume was decreasing during this pullback, increasing during this push up, right? It's not as high as the morning volume, but we got a nice little push. But if you compare this volume to the previous day volume, even though this is the lowest part of the day, this is higher than or just as high as a lot of the volume from the previous day or days before that, right? So everything is relative, right? These numbers, how much volume we're trading exactly, doesn't matter as much as what the volume is compared to the previous day or previous days, right? So it's all comparison. You got SPY making a slight move down. Could be flagging. It could be in a range. Well, it is in a range. Previous resistance also fit the EMA. That's a nice confluence for a bounce. All right. Now, if you see anything else that aligns with that, like you see ELF. ELF is in an overall downtrend, but it did have a close above all the highs and pulled back to the EMAs on this 15-minute time frame. So that's a good confluence. The thing is, you got to wait for the price action to know if the market wants to confirm these areas as support, right? It's like a confirmation. It's like a part A, part B. You got to wait for multiple parts to confirm in order to have the overall trade confirmation. My brother Tay Money. All right, so actually gonna do a little bathroom break, right? I want to keep this going, but your boy just has some bitter juice. I bought some juice. It's supposed to cleanse out your system, but it's real bitter. I think he boiled like cloves and bushes. You know that I don't know my Caribbeans are in the billion, but you know the bush tea. I think he boiled like cinnamon sticks and a bunch of crazy stuff. But I drank it, and it's the most bitter thing ever. It's like you just chewed on cloves. But supposed to help me feel good, you know. But it's also make me feel like I gotta use a bathroom. So I'm about to be right back. Y'all keep an eye on Monster, man. Tay said, how do I determine the stop loss? So I'm gonna talk about that right when I come back. Let's do this. We back in action, and it looks like Monster definitely made a little pullback. All right, so we keep it consistent, right? Following our EMAs, looking at all of the conditions that we just called out, and we was looking at SPY coming down, right? Like we said, it came down to a good area, but we had to wait on the price action, and this is why you wait, right? You can see the nice candle that went straight through that area and never gave us a confirmation. That's how you, I guess that's one, discipline to not enter, and then two, to have patience to wait for that candle to close, right? So waiting for candle closes could probably boost your trading performance by 50%. Maya's in the building. What is going on? So the thing with MSTR is that if since I'm expecting a big move, which I mean we already got the big move, that if you ever look at any big moves or like long lasting moves, it comes with pullbacks. And it's easy to say, oh, I would have caught that, or I would have been in that, I would have held that. But if you think about it, are you willing to hold through pullbacks? Right? Are you willing to be up 100%, 200% and hold through pullbacks, right? To not take the profit. And I'll say it's easier to do it when you have multiple contracts because you could scale out, right? But if you have one contract, if you just have one, right? Maybe on your runner, your last one, or it's your only one that you ever had. And to be up a certain amount to hold that for a big move, it's going to require you to hold through some pullbacks, right? Now, it's multiple things that come with being able to hold through those pullbacks, right? I could say it's part A and part B, right? One is the understanding, which is the logic, and then two is the emotional, right? And so dealing with part A, you got to understand what are the things that are keeping you in this trade, right? And those are the things that should probably be getting you out the trade. And for some traders, it could be one thing, some two, some three, four, five. And there's no right or wrong, but you should be aware of what it is exactly, your reasons for what is keeping you in that trade. And once that thing goes away, that should be the thing that pretty much gets you out the trade. Whether it's a 9 EMA, whether it's volume, whether it's the trend, whether it's the sector, whatever it is, that's a big thing to know logically what is keeping you in the trade. So if you're struggling and you don't know that part, there's a few ways there's a few tools you could use to help you stay in a trade. There's something on that is not even on this time frame right now that is helping me stay in this trade, right? And that's me seeing that there is room to run, right? There is seeing that there's a bigger flag that we broke out of on this daily, right? That is helping fuel this breakout, right? So it's multiple reasons having it's like each reason is like your armor, not your armor, your bullets, your weapons. And the more reasons you have is the more weapons you have to fight your doubts, right? To fight the uncertainty. So this is where the emotional aspect comes in because your mind, your emotions is gonna want to make you it's gonna make you feel anxious. It's gonna make you want to get out the trade. It's gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a battle. And like I said, that's where the weapons come into play, right? But you also have to have the emotional fortitude capacity to be able to wait. So that's where the word patience comes into play. But I spell patience PAY, right? Because when you that's how you get paid in trading, right? Having patience. So yeah, you might know, hey, you look back at the trading like, hey, this is why I should have stayed in. But do you have the emotional capacity and mental capacity to even watch the trade for that long, keep up with it? So it's actually three things. It's the logic, which is the technicals, the emotional stability, and three, the mental capacity for focus, right? So those got to be top tier because what we're dealing with in terms of anxiety about watching our money on the line in uncertainty is beyond top tier. It's like top level mental um I don't know, it's like a mental warfare pretty much, mental emotional. So that's why you see it's very hard for traders, but doesn't mean that you can't get good at it. It just means you have to know what to do in order to practice and get good at it. Because a lot of people, they're just trading and they don't know, hey, these are the things I should be focusing on. So there's a lot of watch time, there's a lot of screen time, a lot of trading time, but there's not a lot of learning within that, right? And that's why I say it's best to join a mentorship. The one that I have is 6 weeks, and we went over key levels the first week, key conditions the second week, key patterns the third week, put them all together the next week, and it's all in stages so that you actually understand the pieces and how to put it all together. And yeah, in 6 weeks, you literally are way better, way smarter than you've ever been, and that is how you develop to be able to stay in trades longer, right? You got to get better at on all levels. So we got Monster doing this thing. Spy is still in this pullback mode. Okay, Pan W. You see, we had that demand zone drawn, and we had a push up, and we're back above the 90 MA on that 5 minute. Volume is it's a little choppy, but I'll say moderately low. Cost, right? Keep your eyes on cost. I say cost. Cost. Costco. Okay, yeah, I do gotta talk about the how do I determine stop loss? Like Tay had asked earlier. Stop loss, if you're going in the up direction, then you're expecting an uptrend. And uptrends are higher lows and higher highs. So if you so pretty much your lows is what's keeping you in the trade, right? So just in general, you could use your lows as a stop loss whenever you're in calls, right? And there's lows on every time frame. There's different lows you could use. Whether you're in a scalp, day trader, or swing, you're gonna have to choose different lows. Give yourself more distance or less distance. So that's just a rule of thumb you could use for your stop loss, and that's what I use. I trade a chart, right? Um, if I'm up and it gets below an EMA, I'm not as confident. And sometimes, yeah, I'll stop out like that. But the biggest thing I would say is I use my emotions, my awareness to know when I don't know anymore, right? So when I'm in a trade, it's because I know I have an edge. But once I know I don't have that edge anymore for some sort of reason, the market changed, then that could be my stop loss as well. If you're going down, you could also use the downtrend, which is lower highs, as a stop loss. So if the price goes above a high, which will create a higher high, that's not a characteristic of a downtrend, which is indicating that this downtrend might be changing and it's best for you to get out. So just use highs and lows as your levels to stop out. How was my first 2 years in the market? It was it was it was so much words I can't even pick one. First word that came to mind was trash, right? But I thought I was so nice. That's the thing. Um, it was fun, right? Lost a lot, lost everything, right? But it was fun, right? Because I don't know, I always had this mindset that the only reason why I'm doing this is to be the greatest. So it's just a matter of putting in the work, you know. I was a champion in track from high school, college. So I know what the journey is like, and it's painful, right? It's not what people think it is, right? It's putting in so much work and dealing with so much pain that your body and everything else adapts to it, and it no longer is like something that's out of the norm. It's normal now, but your body and mind, everything is stronger, right? It's like the gym, right? Your muscles, everything. If you pick up a new weight, it's gonna be a struggle, but keep doing it, it's gonna be normal. You are repping it out. And yeah, so first 2, 3, 4, 5, all those years was struggle years, but grinding it out years to get to the top. And to the top is me having building my own system, knowing every aspect of it and being able to execute it consistently, right? Build not only a system but my mind. That's the biggest part, the emotional development, maturity, right? So it's not just technicals, it all of it matters, but the hardest part is I guess the longest part, based on who you are and how stubborn you are and your personality, was aligning my emotions to be able to execute my trading system consistently, right? When the market is moving in your direction, it's easy to be consistent, but when things is changing up, maybe nothing is happening. That's what exposes how consistent your trading really is. Like you might be a good analyst, good planner, good stuff, but um the only way you'll know how consistent you actually are is by seeing your results, right? Over time. And the main thing is, okay, what do you do about that? And my whole thing is just writing down everything you're doing, everything, all your mistakes. And that's the most important one because that's literally telling you what you need to work on to get to the next level. So you should be happy. Not that you, I mean, yeah, be happy you made the mistake, really, because what if the mistake never happened and you had to continue trading with that flaw, not knowing it's there? And then you build your account up to 100K, a million. And then because that flaw is still there, but you wasn't aware of it, you lost half of your money or even all of your money. So my whole mentality was like, yo, let me fail fast. Let me show me all my mistakes now and let me get over it now. Let me work through it now so that when the account is big, I'm consistent. I don't have to deal with these hardships because it's gonna come. It's gonna be there. Whether you want to start with a small account or a big account, you're gonna have to go work through all of these areas of development, and there's no shortcut. And if there is a shortcut, you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for it in the long run at some point. It's gonna be there, whether you didn't mature emotionally, whether you didn't understand, you rushed your strategy or your technicals. If it's anything you don't understand and you know you don't understand, and you're not putting in any effort to understand it, then it's gonna come back around. And at some point, when the market is uncertain, when you're uncertain, um, you're not gonna have anything to really hold you together. So, yeah, everything is really emotional and mental in this game, and you want to do everything that you can to make sure that you are emotionally stable. You have money in the account, right? I think that's number one. Um, and yeah, I think that's once you have money in your account, you're emotionally stable, and you have. I mean, I could go down the list for all the things you need, but I think just focusing on those two um, is the goal, right? That's the bare minimum. Emotional stability and um, having money in your account to trade. So you'll see if you make those your goal, then making sure you're risking properly becomes part of meeting that goal, right? Making sure that you stop out of your trades, make sure you don't put too much money on your trades, because if you do, right, then you might not have any money left in your account if things go left. Alrighty. So this is the type of day we're dealing with. You do have opportunities to make money, but this is more of a ranging type of market. At least in the intraday. It's still trending because you could see we have on the 5 minute the low still being respected, right? This low still being respected by this low. All right. This is the demand zones being respected, right? So Costco, we got the crossover on the EMA slight. Well, this is some. Well, each day had nice spike in volume at the end of the day, but this one resulted in a big move once the market opened, and we are also above the 50 EMA, which is different than any other day, and also the 9 EMA crossed over for the first time. So seeing that price action of the candles pushing up pretty strong, that's a good sign for the upside. So Eli Lilly's another one. We have a huge trend line that came from, I think, the daily. Oh, this is a flag. And I've been eyeing Eli Lilly since yesterday. So we had this push up consolidation for like almost a month and a half, and then seeing a nice close outside of that range on the 15-minute, right? Pulled back to that trend line as a retest, and you could see a push up. So good opportunities here on Eli Lilly. We was taking a look at the health sector XLV, and we seen that it was pushing up, it's pulling back right to that 50 EMA. So could see a nice push up to about 920 on Eli Lilly or higher. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so let's check in with everything, and everything looks pretty decent. It's pretty decent, right? This is, like I said, it's a slow day, more of a tighter range. Um, things are moving, but it's moving more, is more grinding up, pulling back even slower. And yeah, you just gotta look out. Like Elf was a nice one for the upside. Got a support down here, closed above the whole range, and could see anywhere. Let's see, 103.50 and 104.30 area. PLTR went crazy today too. All right, so Tanny's in the building. We got. He said, I got out of Pan W because it hit my stop loss. I followed my plan. That's what matters. Now I'm managing the emotions with waiting to watch what it do, what you said, changing my mentality. There you go. In and out. There's always another bus coming, another train. So Pan W. Yeah. So this is like one. It's already made a huge move, and it's just ranging, right? Still holding this low. So true stop loss would be under this low, under 353, right? So you can see that this trend here is just one wave. So the price could do whatever it wants, whatever it wants. But did it break the low? Right? If it breaks out, if it closes under the low, then whoo, trade is over, guys. But once it breaks that low, you got to see that we do have a 50 EMA here that is lining that same spot. So this has a couple different supports in the area, right? And that's actually what you want for a bullish setup. You, of course, you would want one good support, one good reason why you're in the trade. But if you have two, three, multiple reasons why, that's only going to support your trade even more, right? With Pan W, this is what I'm seeing. I understand it's a lot of anxiety in this setup, right? This one, it pushed up crazy. Let me see, give you guys a zoom out, see this normal price action, how choppy and tight that is, and then out of nowhere, big move, just straight up this morning. And this wasn't a move that allowed much people to get in. It was a very quick move. Let's see, at 9:30 from like 9, yep, straight up from that point, consolidation, and then gave a nice little move there. Closed above that high, nice little pullback. Now, what's happening here? A lot of people, I feel shorters want to short this. Pan W is kind of like a popular stock. You got Nancy Pelosi, right? Um, Pretty much was given this. What did she do? She bought the stock, but she made it popular because people found out, and a lot of people has been trading it ever since they realized they could follow her trades. So this one is, it's an interesting one. Like, I don't, the company's the company, but in terms of the perception and the sentiment in the stock market itself, is it, I wouldn't say it has a cult following, but it somewhat does. And that's why I like it, right? Um this one could trend. And knowing that with a move like this is gonna make people want to short it, right? Especially since, like I said, there's like, it's like a more popular stock, which means more retail traders will be in. And when, there's a certain way retail traders think, right? When they learn enough and they think that certain opportunities should be shorted, um sometimes those people could get caught, right? And those people are what help create short squeezes if the price ends up going up, right? So just being able to spot these setups and spot these um, situations ahead of time could help form decisions for you to either hop in or stay out. So in this case, just understanding the trading psychology and the situation and just the overall stock sentiment and the market environment, and see how a lot of stocks doesn't want to really come down today. Um, is only like little clues, right? It seems like, okay, it's such a small clue, it can't really add up to the big idea. But when it's so many small clues that's leaning towards the same way, it's interesting. It's like I can't see you, but I know you're there, right? And that's what's helping me stay into MSTR. That's what's helping me trade Pan W. And yeah, that's my analysis, my friends. Let's see, it's 1:30. Tay said that this SPY might close above the previous day's high, right? So we're looking for 72. No prob, Tanny. Tanny always got the great questions. She must have went to Harvard or something. Monster. All right, so look, just doing the same thing. Measured move target. Let's see, 198.46 down to like 194.68. Dang, this is a small looking pullback, but I moved 3.5 points. Maybe. What's the low? 85. So that would be 40. Okay, 60. So 360. And if you just add that 360 up on top of there, that would be about 201. What is that? 202. Shan is in the building. What's going on? We deep. We on YouTube. Yeah, AMD pissed me off. Um, this one, look at how Nvidia just been coasting straight up, which is justifiable because Nvidia is the one with the news. It has a whole event and everything going on. But even SMCI, I mean, they did have the news as well about the new product and stuff. And I guess I was just kind of just trying to be a band. I was trying to ride the bandwagon with AMD because it was giving some bullish vibes. You know, we got some profit yesterday off of it, but I thought it was going to make a nice move. It kind of did, but you know, just being, I wouldn't say greedy, but just expect a little bit more. And it definitely did come down, and I stopped out, and it's consolidating and it's potentially going to push back up. And that's the thing about AMD. I don't really like trading AMD as much when it's not like trending hard because it does stuff like this. Like it loves to consolidate and fool you and fake you out. While Nvidia, it's more calm. That's why I always like Nvidia better. Hey, Tanny says the mentorship crew on YouTube. Cam's little cult following. Let's go. We all got to get the hoods. Purple hoods. We're going to get some trading gear. I trade better with the hood on too. You lit. All right. So I guess I could let y'all in on a little secret. I actually have a position here on Costco. I got out of AMD, so done deal. Done deal. It wasn't performing. It wasn't performing right. It's like it's like you're starting five. If you ain't performing right, gotta sit you on the bench. You gotta get out. If you're doing good, you stay in a little bit longer. But you gotta know when to take a profit though. Right? If it gets to your level, the conditions aren't in your favor. You gotta know. The Fibonacci was used on SMCI at the 618. That's where we came straight down to and we consolidated and held. Now, is it still valid? Let's see. Yep. There's no candle closes under any of these lows, right? Even this one, there's no candle close. Yep. No candle close, no candle close. This level is still valid. It could go up. So now you're starting to see the chip stocks slightly push up. Nvidia would be a good entry. You got AMD's, it's at the bottom of the range, so it's not bad for a scalp. SMCI, it looks nice for I mean it's not the best. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it's an opportunity if you really want to bank off the chips going up. That this is at lows, could use the low day as a stop loss. Very tight stop loss for a lot of room of reward, and you could just trade it from literally right under there as a stop loss to right there to reward. risk reward. Eli Lilly. So Eli Lilly is actually really good. I would recommend this one because when the market is getting uncertain, usually the healthcare sector is a good one. People like to put their money in. Eli Lilly is one of the top companies in the healthcare sector, so it's good to know. It's good to know. All right, so this is Tuesday, so I wouldn't really be worried too much about option DK on the weeklies. Um, if you're holding to the end of today, but going into a swing, you don't have to worry as much. But Wednesday going into Thursday, you do have to be worried. Thursday going into Friday, you should be really worried because that's the last day of the expiration date. So as the days get closer and closer and closer to the expiration date, your cost for swinging the position is gonna be higher. So being that we have 3 days left on the expiration, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's not that bad. Swinging it. But with 2 days left, you should, if you want to swing, you should either swing with low position size, like meaning you're willing to risk almost the whole thing, or go with a next week expiration date. Right? That's for Tanny. I know she's looking to learn more about the options and which ones to pick. Right? You have expiration dates. You can control your risk that way. You got the strike. You can control your risk that way. And you have the premium, right? That's the main sort of way to control your risk. It doesn't matter what the expiration date or the strike is if you can't afford it, right? So you want to it's like a Venn diagram. I got my whiteboard here. I don't think y'all ready for the whiteboard, but I'm gonna start drawing. I'm gonna start having some lessons. But I'm gonna have like a Venn diagram with 3 circles. It's gonna be how to pick the right option, and it's gonna be price, time, and something else. Options, right? Options is very interesting because even if you suck, you could do decent with options if you risk properly. Yeah. And we're gonna have a whole risk management class to close out our mentorship. Because that's what I want everyone leaving to remember and be aware of. And you're gonna see there's a lot of different areas of risk management, more than you think. Everything is a risk, right? Just even breathing is a risk, right? You letting go oxygen. What if you don't get any more, right? It's everything. So being in this trade is a risk. What if the next second this just goes straight down to I mean, let's not speak that into existence. What if this goes straight up, right? Straight up to 300. If that happens, we're gonna have a meetup, and I'm paying for dinner. That go to 300. All right, Elf. Like I said, Elf is looking good. Sir Elfington. Funny things. I know a guy who knows a guy. Well, actually, I know the guy who knows the owner or the creator of Elf. It's an interesting story. But Elf, really good company. I actually use one of their products. Ha ha ha. Way back then, right? I went to this is back when I mean I still have oily skin, but it was crazy oily. I think this is back when I was eating meat and pause. But it was so oily, it was just annoying, right? Especially in the summertime. Even when I wash my face, like the oil would just come right back. So I ended up getting some blotting sheets. I think someone had it, and I'm like, oh, there's a thing for this, and then it worked. All the oil was like just on the paper, and I was like, oh, I gotta get some of this. So I went to Target or Walmart, I forgot where it was, and then I seen Elf, and I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, oh, this is looks good. Marketing looks good. Price is good. Let me get it. Been using them joints. Stop using it after a while. My face isn't as oily since I don't know. Maybe it's the diet, more plant based foods and stuff, but been pretty good. Doom, doom, doom. All right. So heading into the 2 o'clock hour, which would be 2 hours left of the market. Um, I'm trying to see what I don't really know what to expect. Well, this is what I expect. I expect everything to take off. Not everything, but specifically my positions. That's what I expect, right? I expect SPY to close above what Taste Money said. He said above the previous day high, so 572. I expect Monster to go to 300 today. And what else? Pan W to hit my strike at 370, maybe go past it, 375. Costco to go to 900. And I mean, asked for too much. It gets to like 893. Let it get to 893. All right. What else? Docu is an interesting one. Very, very interesting one to kick off the morning. It's crazy I didn't even talk about this. But let's look at the news. $7.50. DocuSign. So if you guys don't know DocuSign, it's an app that you could upload documents and send it. If you have business or clients or anything, I use it because if somebody says you gotta send this through email or they need this and it's a physical piece of paper and you don't want to fax it, or have a fax machine or whatever machine, you could literally just take a picture of it with your phone and it turns into a PDF and you could edit it and all that stuff. Sign your name on it. So yeah, great company, and it's been at lows for a long time, which is very interesting that it came out with this news that um it's announced that the company will join the S&P mid cap 400. Oh, okay. I thought it was the S&P 500. I was like, what? So let's take a look. And I was saying from a long time, maybe like a couple weeks, that DocuS's $55 area was something to pay attention to. Tanny says, you will never convert me to vegan. I love all the parallels, but I'm sticking with meat. Enjoy the Ezekiel bread. Man, you don't know what you're missing out. That raisin bread Ezekiel, I might have me a slice in a few. So let's see. Docu on a bigger time frame. Let's see. Let's go to the weekly. Nope. Yep. All right. So this is back in 2019. 2020 came, COVID happened, and it went to the roof from about this $60 area to 314, and in 2022 all the way back down to about 38, right? That's crazy. And this is a legit company, and I mean they just it just entered into the S&P. This that's big fuel. But long story short, this is a lot of lines. Let's get a new one. All right. So you can see this $55 area that I had drawn. So y'all know I wasn't capping, right? This was an area that was holding support. We got below it, but held as support. Got below it, but got held as support. Right. So don't get caught up by all of this. See all of that? That's fishing. But this is the real level. So we got to get good at recognizing the real levels. So this is a good book to help with that visual intelligence. This is a book I picked up from Barnes and Nobles like in a couple years ago. But it's very interesting because it has like pictures in it of like art, and it shows you like different ways that your own mind deceives you, and you're able to see different things just by shifting your awareness and by recognizing your biases. And it's a great book. I think the author, she trained police officers to be able to see past perceptions and biases and all that stuff. Da, 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 da. But just like this, it's like being able to see the truth within all of the noise, right? It's pretty good skill to have, right? That in the stock market translates to more money, right? And you can see this if you know that 55 was the real level to watch out of all of this from 65 to 48. Um, and you see, hey, now we got above the EMAs, crossed over, held the pullback, right? Well, the pullback held the 50 EMA, and then now you see it in this push up, right? Broken ranges, right? Gave you 3 broken ranges and volume increase. So with all of that, that's just a good setup. Tanny says, I miss when you said Pan W will hit your target. Are you projecting that also based off of the day's ATR of 990? I'm trying to piece this all together. Um, I don't know if you're talking about the random targets that I don't say random, but I was just manifesting. Yeah, I was just manifesting my targets into existence. All these things that I would love to happen. Let's see. Pan W target. Well, we have to look at the bigger time frame for Pan W's target. Let's see. Pan W. So this is a push up on the 4-hour, pull back, and you could see a push up. So the major high that I'm seeing here is 365.50. All right, just look at the waves. You see how that curls up, creates these highs, and then comes down. Curls up, creates that high, but we already passed it. So if we already passed this high, then this one will be the major one. Now, I already did a couple chart work and seen on the lower time frames that we already hit this minor high at 356, and there's another minor high at 360. So 360 up to about 365 are some nice targets. On top of that, 366, and then you got 368 area. All right, so this is a major one. 365.50. So we're just gonna correct the number. Dun, dun, dun. Now, Pan W isn't like one to bet to. There's way better setups than Pan W. This is just to give you the real on this. This is not something to put all change and focus on. This is more like a. There's a lot of things happening. This is a flimsy market. This is a. It's an uptrending setup, and we have reasons, but it's not. Nothing right now is like really strong. I would say, right? Just analyzing, right? It's not to say that a lot of is going on, something's gonna happen, but yeah, honestly, today is not like it's not a strong day in the market, right? Things are happening, but you really gotta wait a long time for it. There's days where you don't gotta wait at not one point of the day. There's a lot of things happening. Today isn't that day. Um, for me, I'm very detailed and hyper focused, so I'll just analyze everything, you know, and I could see if out of 100 stocks, I could pick the best three or the best, whatever the case is. So that's just my job. That's what I do all day, every day for years, and just got really good at it. So, but just for like a normal trader, if you're not, trying to be super eyeballs to the screen. Today is not, take a day off, right? Come back tomorrow. This whole last 2-3 weeks been very choppy. No props, Annie. We got some more wisdom on the way. Man, we definitely holding it down for the YouTube. It's good that we got the live going. We trying to reach 4,000 watch hours, right? Because that's what you got to get to be monetized or official, whatever the word is. But 1,000 followers and 4,000 watch hours. So y'all holding it down, right? I'm gonna do these lives, right? I'm gonna keep doing it, but also have more exclusive classes where I really drop more structured game. When we bring out the whiteboard classes, I'm just saying, when you actually see the actual patterns that I'm pretty much observing, and my mentees, they know to a degree, but at the same time, I haven't pulled out the whiteboard with them either. So yeah, whiteboard's gonna make a lot of things simple. It's like a teacher teaching without a whiteboard. You know, I do have the charts, but sometimes you want to get away from all the candles because it's like kind of tricky sometimes to explain the simple concepts and then bring the simple concepts into the candles. See, Nvidia, it looks like it's doing something, but it's really not. Right? Up, down, up, down. AMD looked like it's going to do something, but it's really not. SMCI, like I said, could have got a bounce in the area, but it never gave you bounce activity from the price action. No bounce confirmation, right? Pan W, like I said, look at this price action, looking like it's about to come down, and gave you a little hammer where to handle the hammer form at the demand zone. So that's where we are. Still below that 9 EMA. I feel like I've been here before with Costco moving up like this, even though it's still inside the range. Eli Lilly, keep that on you guys watch. Keep that on you guys watch. Eli Lilly, Costco. Understand that Florida, North Carolina, they dealing with hurricane situations, so food supply, all that stuff is a hot commodity right now. So what better than Costco to keep on your watch? Or, I mean, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but I got my little position. Hmm. So patience pays. That's gonna be the theme of today, right? Monster. Notice I swing this. I said swing. What is the proper term? Swung. I swung this overnight. So that means I woke up here at 186. How are we at 198 right now? Right? So 9:30, that was almost 5 hours ago. Had to watch it go up and down, right? You got to be a little bit crazy. That's the secret. It's got to be a little bit psycho to hold it. Hmm. It's kind of like, if you guys don't know, I was a distance runner, right? Running the distance. So when you go on 10-mile runs, 15-mile runs, people used to ask, man, what do you think about? Right? You just running for like an hour and a half straight. Not jogging. I'm talking about running. Huffing and puffing. Kind of got to entertain yourself to a degree. It's like walking the desert. Nothing in sight. But you learn how to get just how to be mentally comfortable with your own thoughts, how to entertain yourself, right? Count some numbers, right? As I'm running, count your steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or think about a song, right? Or like, it's multiple ways, but then you might have to switch it up because you might get old, you might get tired of it. So if you're trading, think about how many distractions there is, right? Being able to hold your trade should be the easiest thing because let's go on Instagram, right? Go on YouTube, go on a Discord, start chatting, ask some questions. But yes, you could do a lot of things to distract you, but now what I use to fill my time in now is more constructive work, where now I feel that in a little bit of Instagram, a little bit of stuff, but more to cool my mind down, give it a break, even though your mind is still, running, looking at social media stuff, but I now more analyze everything. I'm looking for what's going on, because not only am I distracting myself from my own setup and being able to hold, but I'm also looking for the next setup, and that's putting me on top and stay in tune with what's moving, right? So look at Netflix, right? Broke above this and consolidated. Now you got some nice push there, right? And just scroll, and then just try to just not try, but you're observing what's going on with the price action. formulating theories. Okay, well, if this happened, um, can I use this? Well, yeah, if this happening, should this happen? Or okay, I see that every time it does this to the moving average, it does this. So let me see if that's true and look at other setups and see if that same pattern is happening. Because if it is, then that's something you could add to your toolbox, and that could help you be more confident and have more conviction for your setups, entering, holding the trades, knowing how much to risk, right? There's so much to observe just as you're looking through the charts. But most people, they'll just look at the charts and say, oh, the candle's going down. I wonder if it's going to continue going down. Oh, the candle's going up. I wonder if it's going to continue going up. And that's, most of what the thoughts are. But we need to start thinking more of what the price action, what everything about the setup is telling us in terms of, is it telling us bullish or is it telling us bearish, right? The candle right now doesn't mean anything to me, but everything that happened before it means a lot, because these are the clues. These are the only things that you have to give you a heads up about what's going to come next. Hmm. Right. So if even if I just gave you a screenshot, a picture, right? You should be able to tell me, hey, my trade is right there, or I would enter it there, enter it then. Because as every second goes by, every second, every minute is just a snapshot, right? So which snapshot would you enter at? And that's what you should be thinking about when you're observing the charts. Tanny was a good one. Asking the question, she asked a good question. When exactly should I enter, or what exactly am I looking at? That is exactly the goal, as a developing trader, to think about that over and over. What is the exact thing that I'm looking for, right? And it could be multiple things at once. Take Money says, how do you build your trading plan? So a regular trading plan is three things: stop loss, entry, and take profit. That's as basic as your trading plan should be. Um, Anything more than that, you could the next level could be, hey, is this a scalp or is this a day trade? Right? You said what is the sequence? Okay, what is the process? Yeah. Yep. So that's just like the plan. But I have a very, very, very detailed process that will really help you be very consistent and very accurate at the same time. So my mentees, they've been learning the pieces of the process, um, and the process itself. But on my online university, that's what is in process right now, and I'm gonna have a more checklist for every step of the trading process. So, for example, one step, one aspect of trading, the trading process is preparation before market open. Right? You gotta know what news, what events is going on, and then there's your analysis of the stocks in the market, right? And then there's, okay, you found something, right? A trade, that a setup you like. Then how do you plan that trade? And then, okay, you're in the trade. What's next? What is your plan? How are you going to execute? How are you going to deal with the sudden changes? What if it doesn't get to your take profit? Right? It gets there, almost gets there, but doesn't fully get there. What do you do then? And it starts going against you, right? So this ultimate plan is different pieces that goes into it. And yeah, it's pretty much like going to college. It's not trading technicals, you could learn that in a couple weeks, but to learn the system of trading, it's definitely a couple months. And then for you to do your development, it's gonna be another couple months. So I mean, there's people who say, I don't know, they're consistently profitable, or they're really good master traders or whatever. I don't believe any of that could happen under, I want to say 2 years, but with this day and age, things are moving fast, people getting smarter. I would say a year and a half. You need at least a year, and then I'm giving an extra half just for for I know emotional development and maturity development and actual setting in neural programs of all the new information that you're learning. It does take time, no matter how hard you try. Um, right? There's always a saying: it doesn't matter how hard you try, it's always gonna take 9 months to make a baby, right? Could try 3, 4, 5 times, but it's gonna take 9 months. I mean, maybe 6 months if it's a premature baby. But some things just take time. Like, you get a wound, is gonna take some time, um, naturally, right, to heal. Of course, you could take some steroids, something crazy, but those are exceptions, right? Now you guys have advantage, right? You guys could be the exception. Well, you guys are the exception because you guys are learning from me, right? Um, if you guys want steroids, come and join the mentorship program, which most of you already did. That is the fastest way. And yeah, with I forgot what was I explaining, the process. And then Tay Money was like, "All right, I'm glad you said that. How do you determine if a trade is a scalp or day trade? We're looking for a bigger move. For a bigger move. I would say, if you it's a lot to explain. I think a lot are kind of already explained, but definitely my workshops, finding momentum, finding stocks with momentum workshop on my website. It's in my link tree. That's gonna answer that. Um, how do I know if it's a scalp or a trade where you're looking for a bigger move? Yeah. Yeah, my workshop is gonna take care of it. 'Cause I already did explain a lot of it, but I would say, volume, if it breaks a range, holding the EMAs, price action, yeah, and then there's details inside of it, but I ain't trying to give all the secret sauce away on the tubes. We are approaching an all-time high. Oh, no, sorry, not an all-time high. High of day on MSTR, MicroStrategy. All right, so cool thing about MicroStrategy is that they're the first public corporate company to invest in Bitcoin. And did they invest? They invested, I think, at least 12 billion. It might be more. I don't know if it's more than that, but I heard recently, I know at least $12 billion as a company in Bitcoin. So y'all holding 12 billion, not million, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So that means, well, this guy who the CEO, he has a very strong perspective on Bitcoin and why it should rise and continue going up and up and up. And honestly, everything I'm learning and all these, that theory is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Before, it was like a conspiracy, right? Well, Bitcoin was a conspiracy in itself, and then the whole idea that it will continue going up, it was a conspiracy. But now, and it's always been kind of like slowly getting to this point that it's not. It's becoming like common knowledge, like, yo, Bitcoin will go up, like continuously go up, and this is the reason why. Multiple reasons why. So whenever Bitcoin moves, right? This is Bitcoin. This is the 15-minute chart. Let's look at the 4-hour. And you can see this was Monday yesterday. This is today. This was the weekend, and over the weekends, well, more like Sunday, we pushed up and we came down to test the Friday and Saturday consolidation. Also, this previous supply zone. So this could break. Well, this already broke, create a new high above this one, and then now we are retesting this area slash consolidation slash supply zone slash previous demand zone slash resistance level. So this is a strong level here at 61 and some change. And if this holds up and we see some support action and push up, then micro strategy could do well, even more than it did. And Coinbase can also do well. But we're not really seeing any strong signs of any bullishness on Coinbase right now. It's more of a downtrend. Let's see. Like VST, this was one I was expecting to go down. It's still overall pretty bullish. But I'm just looking for any downward setups right now because I'm trying to see if the market actually does want to go down, right? Coin's looking like it's the most bearish out of anything I've seen, but this is still holding the previous resistances potentially as new support. Pan W, consolidating. Everything is pushing to the upside. SMCI, it did have a big move down, but this is just a pullback from the huge move up, right? NVIDIA, AMD, ARM, everything is more on the upside. Google is the only one. Google's our weakest player. Did have a push down yesterday and a push down today. And overall, it has been in a slight downtrend. And it's just weird. Very rangy activity. Meta, crazy move up Friday, crazy move down yesterday, and it's kind of just consolidating with a slight pullback. Could see a push up off of the previous. I don't even know what we're pushing up off of. I would say the lows of the day. So Meta isn't really something I would be eyeing too hard. And SPY is looking to close over that 572, like Tay was saying. All right, Pan W has it's most likely going to touch this 50 EMA on the 5-minute. All right. So it's giving Pan W its breathing room that it rightfully deserves after making a huge move. Micro strategy. So this is what we could do. We could create some alerts. If Pan W, right, gets below this blue line, I'll be alerted. Right? So think about wicks, right? And you want to wait for candles to close. Well, one candle at a time. So allow it a little breathing room and observe the candle close. Just two things to remember when you're in trades. because trades don't always go directly straight to your target. It's like a relationship, right? You don't want to smother your partner, right? But give them a little breathing room to live the life, right? Live your life, right? If you try to um I don't know, I guess control every little aspect of their life, then it's gonna be stressful, right? You rather just say, hey, this is my standards, this is my limits. Don't go outside of that. We'll be all right. Right. And that's kind of what you're doing with these trades. Just give it a stop loss, get it a take profit, and let it live. Right. Don't be breathing down his neck every 2 seconds. You know, sometimes you might need to though. Right. Gets close to that take profit, close to the stop loss, then yeah, you have to get the magnifying glass and look into detail for what the right decision should be. 222. All right. So with the market doing what it's doing, I'm gonna take a break, right? So if you guys want to hang out, cool. I'm gonna leave my screen on, and then I'll be back. But I'm gonna take a little break. You guys can ask me some questions, and I'll come back and answer them. But yeah, market's in pullback mode right now, and there's not really much to analyze more than we already have done. All right. Let's see. I think Spy is a good one to keep on watch. Let's see. Which one shall I leave? You guys want to keep a look? I gave you guys MicroStrategy to keep an eye on it last time, and I came back and it pulled and went down. So I don't know how I feel about letting you guys watch MicroStrategy for me. But let's see. Spy is pretty important. All right, Spy is pretty important. So we'll make sure we keep an eye on Spy. We back in action. We back in action. So we got this SPY above this previous resistance level, which came from this previous level here, which we can see the price use it as resistance. Iffy resistance, and then here, which is here, trying to hold it as support. So price is consolidating. See, Microsoft is actually looking pretty good towards the upside. So just keep a lookout on Microsoft. This is a 15-minute candle. So let's take a look at the 5-minute. Okay, so this did create a new high, unable to close above it, still above the 5-minute 9 EMA. But what I'm observing is that we're making these very small red candles as we're coming down. And it just doesn't look as strong to the downside. There is some volume. So being that we are on an uptrend, just creates new highs. This could be an accumulation of buy orders with this increased volume, or could be some profit taken, or it could be some shorters coming in, right? And we have to use the price action and other conditions to, I guess, verify what's the best likelihood of that, or simply just get out to trade, right? But in this situation, we're observing to see where you want to stay in longer, and this by itself could be enough for you to say, "Hey, let's get out," but it's not enough for me to say that the uptrend is over because of everything we just mentioned with the 9 EMA, the slight uptrend, overall uptrend, and bigger picture play. Pan W, like I said, we got to give it that breathing room. CVNA, has been pushing up all day. VST, like I said, like a lot of shorters was ready to short this, and it's just been ranging all day. So even if this does go down tomorrow and you was right, maybe you bought an option for maybe $2 at this point, but maybe it's only worth $1 because you waited all day for it, you know. So that's how options work. If you buy a same week expiration and it doesn't move anywhere, but it depends on what how many days are left in that same week expiration. Because if it's on a Monday or Tuesday, then you'll be okay. But if it's a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, then you got to be really careful because the premium could decay very quickly and easily without anything really happening. So, like I said, that was the first sign for profit taking, just the uncertainty by itself and being up in profit could be good reason to take profit. But the other reasons to stay in, you could just use the same concepts that we always use, such as previous resistance, holding into support. This is a previous low here. So all you want to do is just draw your key levels. See that this was a demand, right? It's not, this is a 5-minute chart, so these aren't like strong levels, but they're valid levels for the short term price action. So this is looking a little bit more like it wants to push to the downside, but you have to look at what's happening in the other stocks to confirm. From 98. Now, the scenarios on this is that it doesn't have to push further today. It really could just stay in a consolidation or pull back, and it could have a gap up overnight, right? And because there's a lot of people there wondering, hey, is this going to head to 200? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? So with about less than an hour and a half left, you have to make decisions of what will you do? Will you be willing to swing? Um, and if not, it will be best for you to take a position around this time. And yeah, that's really the main decision to make because you don't want to wait until 350 and say, "Oh, I want to get out," when and the price dropped to like down here when you had a chance up here, knowing you didn't want to swing. So yeah, it's all decision making and knowing what you want to do. So that goes back to what Tay asked, like, hey, what is your trade plan? Well, there's a lot of to be fully equipped, fully prepared is to ask all these questions. And that's what I include in my trading and my checklist and process to not only do certain things, but mentally ask yourself, go through the checklist. Hey, is this clear? Is this good? Is that all right? So it's just like you launching a missile. Want to make sure that everything is checked off, everything is good, right levels, right amounts of everything. Nothing is missing, and everything is safe and clear. And it might be a lot more than you want to do, right? What you really want to do is just get in, maybe check one or two things, but they might be 10 or 20 things you got to check, right? But it's up to us to manage our emotions and make sure we check the things rather than rush because we think is gonna whether doesn't matter what we think, right? It's an opinion that is going against us fully going through our checklist, which is what we have to train ourselves to avoid doing and stay laser focused on the checklist and the process. Okay, Costco, I see you. I definitely do. All right, so Nvidia is giving, like I said, it's doing something, but it's not really. This is they make it's a slow market, and if it does something, then it's making us wait a long time. Okay, Meta. So now you start see now as you go through each slide, you're starting to see the movements, right? Just like that, snap of a finger, you see a SPY push up almost a whole dollar in just a matter less than 30 seconds. Just from looking at it. Now, this isn't normal. This is why I'm saying this is a very interesting market because it seems like they're trying for us to not be in these moves, right? And which moves? The moves is actually going up, right? And it's a lot of confusion, it's a lot of consolidation. A lot of people they associate that with the market pulling back, with the market going down. But if you look into more detail of how it's consolidating, how it's making its pushes down, how it's making its pushes up, it reveals that they're making the moves harder to catch on the upside versus all the time they're spending on the downside. Which, if the game is one winner and one loser, they would give us more time to the direction that they don't really that they're not in the favor of the price going to, and they're going to make it a hard time getting into the direction that the price is actually going to. So like this example here, you can see how much time we spent consolidating, pulling back, waiting for something to happen, and they just push it super quick. Like even here, a push super quick, and then all this consolidation. So this is making it hard for traders, day traders, to really capitalize on this movement. Now, swing traders, you guys are good. You guys not even looking at this, and you wake up and you come back and see the market close. And you're seeing position up how much percent because you're not trying to get caught up in all this. You're saying, hey, I'm just gonna grab my position down here and catch me in a day or 2 days. I'll look at the market, see what it does. So there's different ways to play the game. You don't have to take the same risk as everyone else. You could take more conservative risks or take more aggressive risks. You have unlimited options, right? The whole goal is to fit the game for you, right? It's like your shoe size, your style of shoe. You don't have to wear it. First of all, you can't wear everyone's shoes because you're not the same shoe size. And then second, you don't have to wear the same shoe because you like a different style and it makes you feel a little better than other styles. And some styles make you feel worse than some styles. So biggest thing is to know your shoe size, know your style, right? Know what type of trader you are and know how you want to trade. And that's gonna help you stay a lot more consistent than trying some random thing. So SPY is above that 572. Tay Money got some gems. Let's see. We got the micro strategy at the 50 EMA. So let's take a look at the 15. And we have been holding a 9 EMA, but now we're down below it. So this is like a range. pretty much ranging between 198.50 ish and 194.75. It's about like a $4 range. It's Pan W. Let's see, MSTR. Oops. Now, this candle at the top here, like I said, it tested it, but it couldn't close. So there's no real validation for the price to continue based on the short term. Here, we had the validation above that high, but here we don't. And yeah, this has validation to go down. We also, it's like so many perspectives of how you want to look at it, but at the same time, if you're playing the long term, you got to respect the short term, right? So for example, if I'm waiting for the price, if I want to allow the price to come down and hold this as support and then go up, then I would have to allow the short term to pull back and see if it wants to respect its respective key levels, right? CVNA. That one, I'm not touching it, but it's crazy how it keeps going up. Keeping it on my list because it's one of the biggest movers, strongest movers. And it's good to get a good gauge. So on this chart, we got the VWAP, which I haven't used the VWAP in a long time, but it's good to keep it there to know how other traders are thinking because they use VWAP as well. Let's see. So yep, just got out of Monster. I said Monster. MicroStrategy. Didn't wait on that one. Oh, I actually got out of Docu. Well, from the I thought I got out of AMD, but I got out of Docu instead. Interesting. Which was a good one, right? So AMD is actually still alive. It's crazy. All right, so Pan W. cost. All right. Let's see how much Monster. Yep. So that's cool. I really juiced this one out until I couldn't juice it anymore. And I'm cool with that. Right? That's a nice one. So good one. $39% profit. All right. So let's see. Really don't have much that's worthy of any conversation. So, I mean, might have to call it a day. All right. Might have to call it a day. I'm gonna keep everyone posted in the Discord. And yeah, appreciate everyone for coming on through. All right. If you guys want to sign up, if anyone's here that wants to sign up, the link is in the link tree in my bio, in my description. Follow me at Trading with Cam on Instagram. And I'll catch you guys with the next video. All right. It was a pleasure. Peace.